Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another fabulous edition of Advancing Angelo. I've got some wonderful people up here with me. Of course, I got my co-host, Tammy Ramos, here. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me back.
Yes,
super excited.
Yes, so excited because you're going to see a whole lot more of Tammy in the coming webcast. So we are super pumped about that. And of course, we're pumped to have Mike here with us. Mike Berry, welcome back.
Hi, thank you.
Hello. And of course, you brought a special guest with you.
Yeah, I brought Chad Brown. He's with Allen's Transport. Good morning.
Fantastic. Glad to have you, Chad. We are so excited to get this chat started. But for those who may be just tuning in, just joining us, they're not familiar with this webcast. Mike, give us a reminder about, what this is all about.
Yeah, so the big picture is we're trying to highlight economic development, what that's about, but we want to do it against the backdrop of some of our clients and projects that we've been working on with Allen's Transport today. And really to hear their story, get a better understanding of why San Angelo is a great place to do business and live and work.
Yeah, exactly. So for those who, maybe they're just residents here, they don't necessarily have a business or they don't necessarily, think about economic development every day. Why is it important to them, really all of us for our day-to-day lives?
So at its most basic level, economic development is a process in which wealth is created. Right. And so it's how society increases its level of material and societal well-being over time. It's a long process. And our goal really as economic developers for the San Angelo community is to foster a balanced economy that provides opportunities for as many people as possible.
Yeah. Including us, right? Awesome. So job seekers out there, of course, they love hearing about economic development.
That's right. It's all about, number one thing we talk about when it comes to economic development is job creation. Yeah. But it's also about helping those existing businesses, not just attracting businesses that aren't already here, but it's helping those existing businesses stay or increase their sales and output and recruiting of talent as well.
Exactly. Well, speaking of talent, we got Chad here bringing his business. So let's go back a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Allen's Transport and the history of it and how you wound up here in San Angelo.
Okay, so Allen's Transport is actually a Canadian-based company. Yeah. So the owner, he originally worked in the industry as a young man, grew, grew himself personally, decided he was going to break off and do his own thing. Started with one truck, and then I believe that was in 1998-ish, somewhere in that aspect. And he never looked back. He's up to operational, has 70 trucks up in the Canadian market up there. A lot of his Canadian trucks have, transpired down to the U.S. and they've built some businesses in this area within the U.S. And now, pre-COVID, he was originally focused on San Angelo. We had the pandemic, things happened, but he was full force coming right back on, so he ended up here in San Angelo.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and what is it about San Angelo that really pulls businesses in?
It's a very unique area. I'll tell you the funny story that my owner tells a lot is his hometown that he grew up in is when he first visited San Angelo with Mike and Michael, if they were looking at everything, it reminded him so much of his hometown. It's very similar in the aspects of the slow pace we are, the landscape, the rivers, all that kind of stuff. So that's the interesting part, is it really had a dynamic fit in his own heart to come to this area, which of course this industry, what we're in the market in the area that San Angelo in is a great fit. It's located between many interstates. We can bounce, we're on the edge of the oil field. It's a great aspect, and then the industry just surrounding in San Angelo, it's steel, it's wholesale, it's there's so much that can be logistically challenging for people to get out to these other markets, so it's a great fit for us to be in it.
Yeah, those are some great benefits. So what else, if a potential business owner is out there thinking about locating to San Angelo, what would you tell them about the benefits of doing business here?
The benefits right out of the gate is the people that live here, the community, the employee base driven. There's so many good people, so many families, a lot of industry here, right? Different, like I kind of hit on there, a lot of different markets in the industry. So looking at the focal point of San Angelo is, it's slower. I bring this up probably multiple times, but it's a slower place market. That doesn't mean we don't work, right? We stay busy, but it's not the hustle and bustle of the big cities or, the oil market, Midland, Odessa. I'm not knocking those markets. It's just we're a little slower pace, and it's more family driven in my mindset is. And it's very attractive for companies and employees to work in this town.
Yeah.
I'll add to that, and just on a personal note, I came through here in the early 2000s with my wife when I came to Goodfield Air Force. And this town was way different than it is today. But we liked it, and when we had the opportunity to come back, that was an easy answer. Wife knew, she goes, yeah, let's go back. Let's raise a family. That's a good place to raise a family. And we were kind of, coming out of Houston, that's kind of where we lived. We latched onto that kind of slower pace, and in a smaller market. But the nice thing about a smaller market like ours is it has its challenges, but there's lower competition, there's lower cost of doing business.
Yeah.
And really the quality of life is the best in the state of Texas.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, and that goes a long way. The quality of life, that goes a really long way. That's amazing. So, okay, Mike, again, from your perspective, we've talked a little bit about the benefits of bringing businesses here, but how does San Angelo benefit from businesses coming here?
Yeah. So first, I think it's important to understand, especially with Allen's Transport, they're in the long distance specialized freight truck business. Okay, and so a lot of their employees are your long haul over the road truckers, and understand that market first, and why it's so important to San Angelo is the professionals that work for companies like Allen's Transport. They haul things that make modern life possible.
Yeah.
Right. They power the economy. That's how important that industry is. And San Angelo is in a very strategic location in the sense that we are within a day's drive for a trucker before the truck shuts off. Get from El Paso to here, get to the Mexican border, get down to the port of Houston, get out to DFW. We're very centrally located, and so and with our interstate-like quality highway system, it just continues to help businesses like that, but businesses like this then fuel within their supply chain, and they spend lots and lots of money on the existing businesses that support them in doing what they do. For example, just in the U.S., about 70% of all freight tonnage is handled by trucking.
Wow.
Almost 62% of it goes between here and Canada. About another 85% of the freight trucking, of the trade that moves between here and Mexico, about 85%. So trucking is hugely important to not just the national economy, the state economy, but any local economy. And our ability to support a business like this is only going to benefit everybody else.
Wow, that's a lot. When you give perspective with the numbers and everything, really how much it does obviously make a difference. Wow.
Another note is the demand for truck drivers in this area. Just in this area, annually projected, we need at least 75 new truck drivers every year.
Wow.
And I can tell you from working with Chad and them, they pay well over the local average for a truck driver. It's a great place to work. I know he's looking for a couple more.
Chad, are you hiring?
we're right there on the border. We are, yes. So we're always entertained.
Yeah.
One of our biggest mindsets, like on the hiring aspect, is if a gentleman or lady comes in and wants the opportunity, we're always entertaining. If we can make it fit and make it work, we're not gonna stand by and let a good employee just slip away. We'll make arrangements to see if we can drive a little more business or whatever the case is. So we're always looking for good people.
Wow. That's awesome, and I think that just speaks to the community aspect of what y'all saw. And Mike, of course, when you came back there the first time several years ago. But I mean, what is it? There's just so many good things. So if you had to describe it to people, as far as from the business standpoint, because that can be a scary thing to say. Okay, we're relocating or we're opening something new. What would you tell those fellow business owners out there?
Well, I'm biased. I'm born and raised from here, so it's a little different. So, I still go back to the people with the community support. Even the chamber's done an excellent job of promoting businesses in a networking market within the community. So it's just everyone's so friendly. It's easy to work with. If it's a benefit for my company and Mike's company, and we figure something out, it's that simple on a handshake and we go to work. It's just a good network of people in this community.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Mike. If you want to talk a little bit about how y'all come together with the businesses and help them.
So that's our real value proposition as a kind of the traffic director when it comes to economic development in the community. Is really what we do is we provide access. That's access to capital, relationships, business to business relationships, networking, or it's to talent. That's kind of our role. Is we have the relationships with all kinds of different entities. So entertain calls constantly. Hey, I've got this going on. I want to do this. What do you guys think? Am I going down the right path? Like, hey, you know what? We know who you need to talk to. Let's put you in contact with them. That's a majority of what we're doing day to day, is connecting businesses with the right people, with the right information, with the right assets to help them do exactly what they want to do, grow and expand or set up shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No. I just wanted you to kind of elaborate on that, because I don't think that, the understanding is there for the normal viewers is how you guys connect. And so what's that first phone call look like when you say, or the owner of the company says, okay, San Angelo's it. Who do you reach out to first? And what does the beginning processes look like when you are trying to establish a new business in our community? And just speaking a little more to the support that you
Let me
provide.
start that off a little bit. So Michael started talking, my partner, Michael Looney, started talking with Alan Vander, the owner, years ago. The conversation actually started with, unbeknownst to Michael, one of the contracts that Alan's hold. Michael went talking to that company, trying to do some recruitment and attraction to see if they might be interested in expanding and setting up a facility here in San Angelo. And they were like, yeah, it's not happening. We're happy where we are.
Yeah.
It took us many years to get this facility the way it is. But why don't you go and talk to our primary transportation contract and see what they're doing? He goes, you guys are close to us. That might fit into their business model. And so that's how it all really started.
Yeah.
The other way it typically starts is sometimes we'll field the calls and people are just saying, hey, heard about San Angelo. This is what we want to do. Are there any other businesses that do what we do in that area? And then, what other assets, what other business assets do you guys have available to us that might help us kind of seal the deal? That's typically how those conversations go. And the biggest thing for us that we want to communicate to any existing business or potential business that wants to enter our market is understanding that we are a growing community. I'll give you an example. Over the last decade, our economy has grown about 4% year over year. For a business like Allen's Transports, that's what they want to see.
Right.
They want to see that over long term, the community and economy is growing. Something else of note, despite the talent challenges and the lack of labor or lack of skilled labor that everybody's dealing with, San Angelo's labor force and employment is at a 20-year high.
Wow.
We're doing very well in that sense. Always still a need. Everybody needs more people, but what we're doing there, and specifically with regards to companies like Allen's, logistics is now significantly influencing where businesses decide to locate, and we really are located where some of the best opportunities are for industrial and logistics growth over the next decade.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, Tammy, because that kind of opens up another aspect of, things that people may not realize, kind of the behind the scenes stuff that y'all do. You're actually actively recruiting as well, and gathering all this data.
And it's not just about recruiting. That's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Any economic developer is going to go through a strategy or a process of doing some recruitment. But it's more than that. It's also about improving local amenities. Right? That quality of life stuff, that community development piece. It's also about reforming educational systems, just like last month with SISD on. It's also taking part in those types of initiatives. And then obviously a big piece is retaining existing businesses. We're working with a business right now, and it's a retention effort. They're not looking to expand, but we're trying to help them find some additional capital to help them, make some capital investment so that they stay here. Because there's a huge opportunity cost if we don't retain existing businesses.
Right.
In the millions and millions of dollars. What I mean by that is every business has a direct impact on the economy based off of the people that they employ, the salaries that they provide, and the taxes off of their sales and output. But there's also ripple effects for every single business. There's ripple effects in an indirect effect to their supply chain, their suppliers that they pay, those salaries that they support, where those employees end up spending their money. But then also in that kind of farther down where everybody is spending their money within the local economy. So companies like Allen's is important because they are exporting a service. They're not necessarily creating a product, but they're exporting a service, meaning businesses outside our community are spending money at Allen's business.
Yeah.
it means their dollars are being deposited in our economy, wealth increases, and the people that work for companies like Allen's here, they're going out and spending those additional dollars that they're able to make in our economy, causing everybody's standard of living to rise.
Definitely. And Chad, so two parts to this question, because we talked about a lot. So from your perspective, kind of going back to what it was like from, on your end, working with the folks at the chamber, economic development, and then we'll talk about, long-term goals.
Sure. So the first part of that, working with the chamber, I mean, Mike told you the history about how Allen originally kind of introduced in this, and I was in between the COVID phase right here. So for me personally, let me jump on this because I think it's a cool story. I'm mowing my yard at 5 o'clock, and Michael Looney's hollering at me. He's like, "Hey, I've got this guy up here. Can you come down and meet him?" I'm like, "Well, sure. Let me jump in the shower." So without first and foremost, I'm a big advocate of them because they introduced me into Allen. So after that, Allen's he's not a micromanager. He's a very confident person in who he hires. And so, I hit the ground running with this thing, and I needed support. And who do I turn to is, these guys over here at the chamber. And they made sure they directed me into the people I needed to within the city, made sure the right avenues, because we had big ambitions, big goals, big projects coming. And without the support and the guidance and the direction that they provided to us, my project, me trying to handle this loan might have been, 6 months to a year down the road when our customer is ready now. Let's go now, right? So without that guidance, that help, the right contacts, the connections, just the support, period. I don't know exactly where we'd be standing right now. Right now, we're rocking and rolling, right?
Yeah.
So that they've even opened up opportunities for some incentive programs to help build our projects, financially, backing on this, I would not be aware of, but they brought it to our table. And, without that knowledge and without that support in the community, we wouldn't be where we're at with it. So it was a huge impact for us and, we want to be good stewards of the community and do everything right. We're not coming in here, to do anything wrong. So there was a couple times that I was almost jumping that step. Well, you might want to visit with this person on it. So we make sure we get our permitting and everything was right. So that was a huge support for us right there, and just the introductions to the people within the city, and great people to work with. It just streamlined everything, and here we are, we're going. So
and I think that's good for people to hear because it's always like, oh, well, that's going to take like 10 years to do this and that, but kind of streamlining, like you said, and getting that process going.
Right.
Yeah.
It made a huge impact for us. We had a forecast of what would kind of, or at least in, our numbers, our mindset, where we'd be, and, we're 6 months ahead of pace right now.
Wow.
So we're growing quickly, and it was, it was a direct impact on them. It really was. The chamber guys really helped us, Michael and Mike, and in the city of San Angelo, everyone that works over there that helped us get these projects going is awesome. So we're already starting to try and put some more projects on the schedule, hopefully for next year, but then I'll be making some phone calls for
But speed to market is key, right? It wasn't just about us helping these guys. They had customers that were ready to go. So we had to have their customers' best interest at heart too. So getting them moving and moving their material as soon as possible is only going to help us and help the community do better.
Sorry, I kind of cut you off there. I'm just excited.
That's kind of really like what I'd like to understand is how all the pieces come together. And when you say, we're growing, what does that mean to everybody else, and growing in the sense that the company's growing, but you're growing, meaning there's going to be more positions available for people to be hired on. And I really like that you touched on just what you guys do, because I think that gets lost in the shuffle, and really
it's kind of boring too.
But really, like, you're selling San Angelo in a sense, and I don't think that people really when you think chamber. We know we have our ribbon cuttings, and but what is the chamber? And so I love that you're touching on that, and I love that, and I would like for you to speak more on that. As the time goes on, but the whole competitor analysis and the recruiting pieces, because I think that I've learned a lot just sitting here, and I can tell you that I feel like I thought I knew everything about the chamber, and I've learned a little bit today. So
well, you hit the nail on the head. A lot of what we do, we spend a lot of time marketing the business assets to encourage guys like Alan to set up shop. Right? So we have to understand the data, understand what the data means, but then be able to communicate that in a way that's compelling, so that it helps us tell the story of San Angelo. And part of that story, and that connects to why Allen is here and why their business is doing so well already, because with the coming of the railroad, San Angelo historically became a shipping hub.
Right.
And that really is going forward because of our strategic location, the freight capabilities at our regional airport, the rail line that's being revitalized with the new rail park, and then just again, like our interstate light quality highways and the coming designations of the new interstates with the coastal plains.
Yeah.
That really is our future when it comes to logistics and transportation and distribution. That is our future. We're positioned well to leverage that. So I'll throw out there, I encourage any other business that's looking for a good place to set up shop that's not in competition with Allen. Give us a call.
But it's a good case study.
Competition's always healthy. So.
There you go. Yeah, Chad's ready. He's ready to go. He's like, all right, we got this. I love it. Well, gents, we covered a lot. I'm sure if people have, questions or anything like that, they can get a hold of you, Mike.
Definitely. Me or Michael, just call us at the chamber.
Perfect. All right. Any final thoughts or messages you want to share?
Nothing for you?
Good.
All right. Well, I think for us, especially in light of Chad and Alan Fandrick, it's really about improving supply chains, and getting customers, getting the closer to the customers. That's the future. And we already have a well-diversified economy, and we really are moving towards, San Angelo is moving towards a revitalized status as a dynamic crossroads. Stay tuned.
Ooh, I like that.
Exciting.
Stay tuned. Yeah, we can't talk that, Tammy. So we're gonna end right there, everybody. Again, we're gonna have more with them next month. Super excited. So, guys, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
Of course. Alrighty, everybody. We will see you next time.